Hello, and thank you for our next episode of After Hours. I'm really excited to go a little bit deeper with one of my buddies that I worked with at a prior organization. So he actually helped me on my journey to come here to New American Funding, coming up just over 3 years. Troy Village out of our Burlingame office. He manages and services our Peninsula market. But Troy, I've been now here at NAF just a little over 18 months or so, and since I've been here, we've helped work together again to double the staff and team, and finishing the year, one of the top branches as well, month over month in the company. So really, just excited with the growth that you've had, and I want to just understand a little bit more about maybe what initially brought you to NAF, and what excites you most. So let's just start there and talk to us about why you chose NAF in the first place, bud.
No, I appreciate it, Craig, and yeah, I love the hat, man. It's I'm glad we're twinning today, man.
Yeah,
Um,
I got the memo.
yeah, no, I joined NAP as you mentioned 3 years ago, and this last several years, kind of coming out of COVID, there was a transition in the mortgage business, and we've seen how that's dovetailed into just lower numbers of mortgage agents, nationwide, really. But I thought, as I was looking for a new place to be, because our old company, I think felt like we had grown out of it, and there were some great things about it, but the reality was it wasn't the right fit for us. And yeah, I thought about it, and I gravitated towards NAF, and one of the things that really struck me is was the culture and the kind of the family environment and the desire really to help more of the underserved communities, but then really also bring in lending. Kind of the way I look at it being is being able to not just help everybody who's inside the box, but being able to help people that are really outside the box. And that's really actually one of the things that I enjoy is not just being able to, provide that, that really like targeted rate or that type of client that's focused strictly on something and they're really well qualified. But it's like, the one that's a little more on the fringe because of their various aspects.
Yeah, no, you bring up a good point, Troy. I want to touch on two of the things you mentioned. One, when I first, started looking under the hood, Tony Blodgett, our obviously, leader for the West here, great guy, not only
Yeah.
somebody that cares for his people, but very intelligent and really helps all our salespeople on the streets. Really, was about, he continually talked to me about the culture of the organization. And I was like, well, you and I both know, Troy, Bay Area, customers, clients don't really care about the culture. They care about the interest rate. So that was
Yeah.
something I was really, focused on, that we worked towards ensuring that we became a much sharper organization within the last 3 years, obviously, as you're aware of. But
Yeah.
with that, when I came here and I felt the culture of support from the top down, Rick and Patty, our owners, Christy Bunce, our president, and Tony, and as it trickles down, everybody cares for each other, and they're so open to helping, and there's no hierarchies of reaching out to somebody and getting any kind of trouble, right? Everybody wants a solution for you, and I feel like that's ultimately what you were sharing. And we have that 2,200 mortgage products to solution for all types of customers, like you mentioned, those that are in the box. And we have a lot of outside of the box programs that allow us to have some niches as an organization. So very well said. Since you've been here 3 years. I know that the company was different 3 years ago, as it was 2 years ago, as it was 18 months ago when I joined. So you've seen some of the evolution. Since you've been here, what do you think's the greatest impact that you've received since you've been here as far as change?
Well, I think that, we've really grown in those 3 years. I mean, obviously the market itself has kind of dictated some change, right? And, with that, we've had new leadership come in, but the reality is the culture and Rick and Patty, that underlying part of it is the same. You came on board, well, as you mentioned, 18 months ago. It's hard to believe it's 18 months, man.
Right.
My goodness. And but I remember conversations we had, when you were kicking the tires and
Yeah.
taking a peek under the hood, and I feel like the big change is just more flexibility, more transparency, and all of that to me is a good thing, because I've been in companies where there was no flexibility or very little flexibility. There was zero transparency, and it's just not a great feeling, and it's not a feeling of growth. It's not a feeling of excitement, and so for those reasons, I just felt like, that's been that definitely a marked improvement. And, you and I have worked together previously, so we've already had that working relationship, kind of knew
Right.
what to expect. And so I think that's the coolest part I've seen in the last few years.
Yeah, no, you talk about growth, and I'll just kind of highlight it. We were, the greatest IMB with growth year over year over the past 2 years since we've been here. And I think that, we're the best kept secret in mortgage. Once people, to your point, like myself, take a look under the hood. And it took me some time to kind of vet all the IMBs that I had talked to and ensure that this was the right place that I would like to retire at. And I feel very confident, with what they said they were doing with our technology that's now been rolled out and
Yeah.
that was coming. And they put a lot of investment into that over the years to kind of get to where they're at, to create this ecosystem where we have, our technology as now an advantage where it was a disadvantage. And to your point earlier with the growth, ultimately when you're growing at the scale that we've done, sometimes it's hard to maintain that small family culture kind of feel that you would want to have. And I feel like we still do that, even probably even better. We host, calls with our division and region to kind of keep us collectively together and ensuring that we're educating our people as far as our products and sales tactics, and even some of our internal coaching as well too that's available. So I do feel like the growth is exciting. And with the growth, we're a top 10 IMB now, but we're trying to shoot for top five. So we're still looking to hire some great loan officers in the market. Specifically, Troy, you service the peninsula for us. And so if you're a loan officer out in the peninsula market here at New American Funding, and you're looking at, maybe options because you're not completely happy where you're at today, give Troy a call. He's a great leader. He understands business, doesn't try to do too much business, and be there for his people. And I really appreciate, you helping me get here, Troy. And I feel like our partnership is just starting to blossom, and looking forward to 2026.
Yeah, yeah, me too. And I couldn't agree with you more, Craig. I mean, we're definitely open to having those conversations with people who want to be successful and are excited about continuing the journey in mortgage, and some people getting into mortgage as well. So it's a cool time to be in the industry. I think there's going to be some fantastic things ahead. I think 2026 is going to be much better year than 25, and which was better than 24, right? And so, but it is all what we make it. That's the reality. And so we can either make it that success or we can not, but it's all starts with, as you like to say, intention.
Yep.
So, that's a big thing. And there you go. And I literally did not know you had that on. That's awesome. But that's kind of where I think, and in terms of everything starts with vision, right?
Yep.
Visions, there's a saying that with but for vision the people die, right? And so it's kind of a graphic statement, but the reality is everything starts with what we start with in our mind and our head.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think our intention is to try to double our volume like we've done over the past 18 months. Actually, I think it's been close to triple. And so, I'm excited for 2026. I thank you for taking the time. I appreciate your leadership, and looking forward to continuing to hit the top charts, Troy. So thank you for joining, and have a wonderful rest of your week. And let's get after it.
All right, likewise.